The large digital clock at the front of the classroom showed 10:17 a.m., and the soft hum of the ceiling fans mixed with the quiet scratching of pens on desks as students at Crest Academy School in Lagos continued copying notes from the board. But in the middle of that ordinary school morning, something happened that completely shifted the life of a young girl without warning. The teacher paused, turned slowly, and called out Ada's name. And even before she stood up, something inside her already knew that this was not going to be a normal question or correction, because the tone of the teacher's voice carried a kind of finality that made the entire class fall into silence. Ada stood up slowly from her seat at the back of the class, holding her books close to her chest as she looked forward, trying to stay calm, even though her heart had already begun to beat faster. Without wasting time, the teacher told her in a firm and controlled voice that she had been given enough time to complete her fees and that she should leave the school immediately until the payment was made. For a moment, Ada did not move, as if her body refused to accept what she had just heard, and all around her, students turned to look at her, some whispering quietly, while others simply watched in silence. Even though she tried to hold herself together, the embarrassment and pain rose quickly inside her. She bent down slowly, picked up her bag, and walked out of the classroom, passing through the long corridor where other students moved freely. But for her, everything felt heavy and distant. By the time she stepped out through the main gate of Crest Academy School, the busy Lagos road in front of her felt louder than usual, with cars moving, horns sounding, and people going about their day without noticing that her world had just been shaken. She stood by the gate for a moment, unsure of where to go, because going home would only bring more questions she did not have answers to, and staying there made no sense. She remained still, holding her bag tightly, as if it was the only thing she could control. Then, suddenly, a car slowed down. A simple car, not too big, not too flashy, but clean and well kept, like someone who valued effort more than appearance. The car stopped just a few steps away from her, and the window rolled down slowly, revealing a young man who looked calm but observant, like someone who noticed things others ignored. When he spoke, his voice was gentle, but direct as he asked her why she looked so troubled standing outside during school hours. From that moment, Ada never forgot him. Because in a city where people often looked away from problems that were not theirs, Chike chose to stop, to listen, and to act. Over time, that act of kindness became something much deeper. Years passed, and as Chike continued to grow his small business into something bigger, through hard work and persistence, Ada also grew into a strong and educated woman. But life was not always kind to her. When things began to fall apart again in her own journey, she remembered the one person who had once stood for her when no one else did. She found her way back to him, not as a helpless girl this time, but as a woman carrying her own struggles. Chike recognized her immediately, and without hesitation, he welcomed her back into his life. What started again as support slowly turned into friendship, and that friendship grew into love that felt natural and undeniable. They got married. They built a life together in the city, and as time passed, that small beginning turned into something big. Chike's business expanded, their home became comfortable, and they were blessed with children, starting with Amara, who grew into a calm and thoughtful girl, and later the twins, Chisum and Chidera, whose energy filled their home with laughter and life. The years did not just pass. They unfolded in a way that slowly turned what once looked like a simple beginning into a life that many people around them could not help but admire. Chike did not remain the young man who once struggled to support himself and still chose to help a stranger. He grew step by step, building his business carefully in the busy and ever-moving city of Lagos, where success did not come easily, and where only those who remained focused could survive the pressure that came with it. What started as a small business eventually expanded into something stable and respected, and with that growth came a change in lifestyle that reflected his hard work. The house they lived in was no longer modest, but spacious and well-designed, located in a quiet estate where security guards stood at the gate and neighbors minded their business while still watching everything. Inside that house was a family that seemed complete in every sense of the word.